Welcome to the Daily Insider here on VegasInsider.com. Kevin Rogers with you, Wednesday, March 10th, 2021, right in the midst of conference tournaments and March Madness. And we're looking forward to talking with you today. We're actually going to give out some free picks since we have NBA restarting tonight with two games, Washington at Memphis and San Antonio at Dallas. Also, plenty of college basketball as well as NHL, and we'll hit on some of the tournament games as well. But first, let's begin with a free pick. And that's where we'll start with college basketball, since you have a ton of games to handicap today. And our friend Joe Williams, who has won 14 straight games, you see at the top there. He went 2-0 yesterday. 14 guaranteed wins in a row. He had Rice against Southern Miss in Conference USA yesterday. So now we will look at his free guaranteed pick, and we'll give it away for you right here on the Daily Insider. As you see everyone's selections for today, even I have 6 picks here in the middle. But we're going to look at Joe Williams and his pick for today. Texas, San Antonio, and Charlotte. Shall we? Da-da-da! He likes Texas, San Antonio, the Roadrunners, UTSA, to cover against the Charlotte 49ers. And that is his free selection for today. So if you want to jump on that train, Joe Williams has won 14 consecutive guarantees in college basketball over the last month. And he is staying in Conference USA today to take Texas San Antonio against Charlotte, laying the 4.5 points. So that is the free pick for college basketball. We'll get to the free picks for the NBA and NHL in just a few minutes. First, let's take a look at college basketball and what is going on today. Big Sky already underway, ACC underway with Syracuse and NC State, and Syracuse winning at the half in that one. Coming up, Miami and Clemson. The Tigers, an 8.5-point favorite. Miami ended up Miami ended up beating Pittsburgh yesterday to advance to the next round of the ACC tournament. Duke and Louisville. That's a really interesting matchup. Duke favored against Louisville tonight in spite of losing to them twice this season. Notre Dame and North Carolina inside the ACC to wrap it up. And Notre Dame coming off a huge buzzer-beating win against Wake Forest last night. And Notre Dame was down huge in that one to the Demon Deacons. But they come back. They advance to face North Carolina in the final game of the ACC tournament tonight. The Metro Atlantic, they continue with a pair of games. Iona favored against Siena. Fairfield, an underdog against Monmouth. And then the Mountain West, they get going. Couple big favorites. Wyoming laying 12 to San Jose State. UNLV laying 12 to Air Force, and Fresno State, an 8.5-point favorite against New Mexico. The Big East starts this afternoon at Madison Square Garden. Marquette, a 3.5-point favorite against Georgetown. Butler hooking up with Xavier in the middle game, and Providence, a 7-point favorite against DePaul this evening. The Pac-12 with 3 games. Washington State now an underdog against Arizona State. Washington, a dog against Utah. And the Battle of the Bay Area, Stanford laying 6.5 to Cal. That's the late night game, the chase game in the Pac-12. In the Big Ten, Northwestern, a 1.5-point favorite against Minnesota. The Golden Gophers have not won a game this season away from home, so we'll see how that one turns out. Nebraska and Penn State, they wrap up the night as all the big dogs are going to start to play the next few days in the Big Ten. In Conference USA, mentioned that UNC Charlotte, Texas San Antonio game, or just Charlotte, excuse me. They dropped the UNC years ago. But Texas San Antonio, that's Joe Williams' pick tonight against Charlotte. Rice facing off with Marshall, the Thundering Herd, a 10-point favorite. UTEP, a 4-point favorite against FAU. And then Middle Tennessee State, who, in a sense, got a bye yesterday by advancing past FIU without playing because FIU had COVID situation. So Middle Tennessee now facing North Texas as a 16-point dog. K-State and TCU inside the Big 12 in Kansas City. TCU, a 3.5-point favorite. K-State's played well of late. They've won 3 of 4. Oklahoma playing Iowa State. The Cyclones, you see that 2-21 on the season. They didn't win a single Big 12 game. Oklahoma, a 12-point favorite in that one. And the lone game in the SEC, Vandy laying 1 to Texas A&M. And that's, I don't call it the play-in game, but that's the one game. And then they'll have 4 games tomorrow. And you also have in the SWAC, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, and Prairie View. And also the Patriot League getting underway with a few matchups, and the Southland with a few matchups. So a lot of college basketball today to look at. In the NBA, it's time now for the free pick of the day. And we're going to go to Jimmy Adams. You see Jimmy up here. 10-1 his last 11 in the NBA. 3-0 his last 3. And, of course, the NBA has been off for nearly a week due to the All-Star break. So now they're back. 2 games tonight. Dallas, San Antonio, Memphis, and Washington. And Jimmy is on Memphis, Washington. He's going to take the points with the Washington Wizards tonight. Revenge spot for the Wizards. They just lost to the Grizzlies before the All-Star break. So Jimmy is taking Washington plus the points against Memphis. And Jimmy has been on fire in the NBA. 10-1 his last 11, 3-0 his last 3, and you can see the picks available for the NBA tonight. Only 2 games, a lot of games tomorrow in the NBA. And the 2 games to take a look at, just mentioned Washington and Memphis. The Grizzlies a 3-point favorite as they are at 500. And Washington, who got up to a terrible start, they're playing much better over the last 10 games or so. They just beat the Clippers before the All-Star break. San Antonio and Dallas, the other game in the NBA tonight, the Battle of Texas. Spurs right now in first place of the Southwest Division. Mavericks laying 4. Luka Doncic expected back for Dallas. San Antonio playing with some revenge after they lost at Dallas earlier in the season, or lost at home in Dallas, I should say, earlier in the season as 2-point dogs. And also the Spurs 6-1 against the spread this year as a road underdog, so keep an eye on that. Now it's time for our NHL free pick of the night, and we will go with Matt Fargo, 5-0 his last 5. He's 10-2 his last 12. So let's look and see what Matt has for his free play. Vancouver and Montreal, late game tonight, and he's going to take the Montreal Canadiens on the road at Vancouver as a favorite. So that's Matt Fargo's pick. He's won 5 straight in the NHL. He's got the Canadiens, and he is going to take them tonight. As you see here are NHL selections. So you have NBA picks, college basketball picks, and hockey picks for tonight. And Joe Williams, he is on Texas San Antonio. Jimmy Adams is taking the points with the Washington Wizards. And Matt Fargo is laying the price with the Montreal Canadiens against the Vancouver Canucks. So that is the look at our free picks for today in all sports. And, of course, we'll have more tomorrow. Very busy day in college basketball tomorrow. Very busy day in the NBA. Very busy night in the NHL. So we got a lot more picks to go over tomorrow and free picks as well. And you could find us on Twitter at TwitVI. You can find me on Twitter at VI Rogers. So we have all of that to where you can communicate with us on there. Also, we have on our homepage the Players Championship coming up tomorrow, and that one from Ponte Vedra up outside of Jacksonville. And you can check out this piece from Matt Blunt. Always does a good job covering golf. He's looking at Justin Thomas at 20-1 to win the Players Championship. Tommy Fleetwood, 45-1 as maybe a grab there mid-range. And Louis O at 66-1 for the long shot. So here are some other selections for golf, and you can check out that piece by Matt Blunt. You can find that on our homepage. Also, for college basketball, we have our tournament hub pages. The Big East, I mentioned they begin today. You see the odds. Creighton's the favorite. Villanova had an injury to Colin Gillespie, one of their top players, and now they are at 3-1. UConn sandwiched in between Creighton and Villanova as that tournament starts today. Georgetown Marquette, Butler Xavier, DePaul Providence. You see the predictions here, and our predictions have Georgetown and the points. Xavier barely covering against Butler, and Providence beating DePaul. So those are the looks there for the Big East. For the Big 12 tonight, with the 2 games in Kansas City, Baylor, the odds-on favorite, to win this tournament that they've never won before. Kansas has the most championships. They're the second betting choice. TCU and K-State looks like a push here, and then Oklahoma to cover against Iowa State later on. Big Ten, they have the 2 games tonight. Michigan, the favorite to win that tournament. It's kind of up in the air. I mean, Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio State, even Purdue. You got a lot of good choices here, even though Michigan's the favorite. And the 2 games, Minnesota, could they end their woes against Northwestern? Penn State, Nebraska, they've played 2 competitive games so far this year. And that's a look at the Big Ten and also the ACC. Check out this tournament hub. Syracuse and NC State, they are continuing right now. Clemson and Miami. Clemson to take care of Miami. Duke sneaks by Louisville, North Carolina, Notre Dame. So it looks like all these pretty close towards the point spread. And you can find out all of our tournament hubs right here on the homepage on VegasInsider.com, as well as on our college basketball page. They're all right here. And some of our top handicappers, Scott Pritchard, Doc Sports, you can click on their links as well to buy their products for college basketball tonight. So that's a look at everything. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Keep you updated on all these conference games and give out more free picks. I'm Kevin Rogers. Thanks again for watching the Daily Insider here on March 10th, 2021. And as always, best of luck with your selections.